I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
Where do you take off where are we taking out the welcome? How do you take off the welcome? Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is a weekly get-together where we talk about the deals, market updates, and just kind of staying on top of what the market and coming up with the right tactical and strategic move for our investment journey. And this event is brought to you by our sponsor, Real Estate IQ. where you can get the freshest data consistently mined to and sent to you. So then you can build a pipeline to get deals, right? It's been tested by a lot of clients. We have proven the system, and we're bringing that system to you as well. Okay, Real Estate IQ. Make sure you check out our website. Every week we are updating with our market updates and deals, right? Any kind of news you want to stay on top of in the real estate investment community and world, this is your go-to place to get that. Right, so we find that fantastic as a user. And we have tons of successful clients, right? Justin got profitable growth for his business. You know, having a consistent source for your leads, right? In this case, for investors, is distressed sellers, is crucial to your business. It's the starting point of your business. So I'm going to skip over, some of these, right? But you can kind of see like a lot of folks have found success and real profits that they're able to obtain through us. Now, let's get started. Okay, our disclaimer is this is for information only. We don't offer investment, financial, or legal advice. Right? This is mainly a sharing with some case studies and all that. So if you need someone to audit your deal, right? If it's a good deal, or maybe help you with structuring a deal so that it works for the seller, maybe even negotiate with the seller, you can leverage us. You can submit your deal to yours truly. And either I can personally help you, or one of our mentor and coaches can walk you through how to do it. And today's agenda, we're gonna finish up with our introduction, and then we'll talk a little bit about our market update. Today we'll discuss the case study that we have. We prepare a pretty extensive case study here. A lot of times the subject to and wrap can be pretty intensive in terms of the calculation involved. So, the more we kind of see these case studies, right, the more we kind of look at it, the more it'll click and make sense for us. Personally, it took me quite a few deals just kind of watching and asking tons of questions to really get it. And so, don't be, I guess, frustrated if the first time you're looking at it, you're like, man, I don't get it. That's okay. Like I think it's not that many people get it the first time. So we just gotta keep kind of repeating the same kind of process with different cases, and then we'll eventually become an expert in it. And then we'll talk about some of the interesting market intelligence that we have put together. John has put together for us. And there's also a really cool new app that we are launching as an alpha. Alpha in software development, alpha is basically an idea that we now have, a concept that we have put together. It's called Deals Near Me. It's a really powerful tool, and we want to get some alpha users to work with us and really perfect this tool. I find we've been using kind of other tools trying to put together to get us to these foreclosure deals in terms of driving for dollar, and there's always little kinks and issues. So with an app, everything becomes more seamless. So just a little quick glimpse on that as part of our feature topic, and then we'll close with sharing with you some upcoming events that are happening this week and next week. Okay, so let's start with our market update. First of all, we are seeing supply is starting to outpace the buyers, and the selling season is about to start, and homes for sale nationally are now exceeding active buyers, and we're looking at higher month supply, 5.1 nationally, and now it's shifting leverage to investors, right? What this means to investors is that it's a softening market, and the sellers are much more negotiable, and we're kind of seeing that as well by reaching out to especially distressed sellers. it's hard for them to sell on the market today without doing updates and all that stuff. Price growth has slowed down. The prices has started to soften in many markets, and the guidance for investors is to look for value add flips, right? What we call forced appreciation. And then President Trump has signed an executive order targeting big single-family rental buyers. The January executive order restricts large institutional single-family purchasers to purchase properties. And this is to promote home sales to individual buyers. And we can see if you're a first-time buyer, anybody that's targeting first-time buyers, you're gonna see a slightly less competition because these single-family rental institutions tend to target the lower price tiers, which is competing with first-time buyer. So this was a good policy to improve affordability, in my opinion. Okay, so let's talk about look at the deals update, and I hope everybody got some coffee here because we're gonna be looking at some math. And if the numbers don't look familiar, my suggestion is take some screenshots as we kind of move through the deal. Okay, so today we're gonna look at this deal. We call it a fire lead. I'll share with you what fire lead is a little bit down. Hold on a second, because actually I want to talk about the funnel first before we talk about the deals. So actually, let's go over this, and then we'll use the deal as a case study on how we look at a funnel. So let's talk about a deal flow. This is very fundamental for an investor that are actively doing marketing and direct outreach to sellers. And let's see, this is probably the first slide first. Okay, so this is the deal up workflow. Okay, when you have the distressed seller leads data from Real Estate IQ, you can mine it yourself too, but there's so much work here. It's much better to outsource that because it's very affordable right now. So you get the distressed seller leads, right? And then you want to set up outreach. So let's say we are able to consistently every day get new leads, do outreach. And then some people are not going to ever respond, and some people are going to respond. Okay, so we're going to receive the response. And you're going to have some people that say, yes, I want to sell. Some people say, no, I don't want to sell, go away. I give you some attitude. So, just kind of be I guess, aware of the negative attitudes of some folks, but there are folks that say yes, right? For every no, you have some people who will say yes. And then what we do is we would schedule a phone appointment or in-person appointment to see the property. When I first started, we tried to go see the property because the more houses we see, the more we understand the process. And that might be something that you want to do, but over time you get more comfortable with a phone appointment, right? And then there's a percentage of folks that would not attend the appointment. You can't reach them anymore. But then there's always a percentage that would, because they want to sell, they're gonna keep going down this workflow, right? We're able to talk to them, gather information we need, and then usually you would need to ask them for more information about the mortgage for the subject to option in our offer. And then when we have all that information, then we go into underwriting. To me, that's one of the most crucial piece of the process, because we're going to analyze the deal, and we're going to spend quite a bit of the time today to go through a case study on how we underwrite the deals. And then we'll present the offer, and if they agree with the offer, they will send the contract, and then after the contract is signed, then the deal is closed. What I find is that when we work with folks that are more distressed, because their options are limited, they are easier to negotiate and say yes. Obviously, you still have a percentage that says no, but they're, I find it pretty easy once we figure out the right offer to solve their problem. The conversion rate is pretty good. Okay, so now if we kind of visualize this as a funnel, what you see is that the first two stages, they're basically cold leads, right? So now we're putting on a marketer hat, right? We talk about cold leads. We want to warm them up to warm leads, hot leads, fire leads, right? They're super hot. They're ready to close, almost ready to close. And then when they sign a contract, it becomes a deal. So this is a really good visualization and funnel for you to kind of visualize. To dive into a little more, a cold lead is someone that has a problem, but we have not reached out to them, right? We have not engaged with them. So once they started engaging, right, they responded back, a positive response, then we know they're a warm lead, right? They want to sell. Yes, they want to sell. So now we want to schedule a phone appointment. Okay, so until we get the next response to actually get it scheduled and actually talk to them, they are the warm level. So we want to continue, right, to nurture them and move them from warm to hot, right? We want to get the appointment. And I think that appointment is a really good stage and a good kind of inch stone that we want to hit in terms of how many phone conversation, quality phone conversation, quality appointments. It could be face-to-face, of course, quality appointments that we can have. So once we talk to them, they become a hot lead, okay? Because we already got some initial information on the property and the owners. And a lot of times they don't have the mortgage information. A lot of times we probably want to ask them to provide some written documentation, right, about the mortgage. And so between 6 and 9 is where we get all the information and do the underwriting and kind of the closing piece, right? So that's what we call a fire lead. The moment we receive the mortgage information, we know that they are, really almost ready to close. And then when we close the deal or get the contract signed, that's a deal that we have. And we can either use the deal to kind of finish the purchase, keep the property ourselves, or we can assign the contract. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask that. Okay. And the next thing I wanted to share is that by understanding this workflow, the purpose is understanding the flow for a particular lead, and then now we can start setting goals. Okay, in sales and marketing, we want to set some performance goals. So if we want to get 3 deals, right? This is just an example. When you first start, my suggestion is 1 deal a month. I think maybe even the first deal. So just kind of working with the numbers. But as an example, I'm going to put 3 deals. So if we want to get 3 deals a month, our estimation is that we need to have about 12 buyer leads, right? We need to do 12 underwritings. And 12 underwritings a month, if we break it down by week, is that we just need 3 underwritings per week, which is not much, right? Just 3 deals to underwrite. And we're gonna look at one in a few minutes. And then if we kind of look into that, in order to get 3 underwriting per week, we probably need 6 good conversations. So this is assuming that out of the 6 conversations, half of them would either say like, "Oh, it's not a good deal," or they say no, or whatever, right? Something that doesn't fall through all the way to become an underwriting piece. But 50% conversion, I think that's a pretty good one. And for 6 conversations a week, we just need 1 quality conversation a day. So that's kind of the main focus. If we, from Monday to Saturday, if we focus on getting 1 conversation, 1 quality conversation per day, we have done our job. It doesn't matter if it's If it's a good deal or bad deal or no deal, as long as I have a good conversation every day, ideally we should yield about 3 deals a month. Right, so it keeps us very focused. Just one deal a day. Oh, excuse me, one conversation a day. So now, how many phone appointments do we need to make in order to yield that one quality conversation? You usually need more than one schedule appointment in order to yield a completed conversation. So maybe every 2 or 3, you're gonna make one. So that's where the phone calls and outreach comes in to yield that one conversation. But my challenge and kind of guidance also for everybody is get that one conversation. That's all you need. One quality conversation with a distressed seller. That's all you need. Maybe even less if you have less than 3 deals per month. But I would say when you're just starting out, for example, your conversion rate may not be as high. So if you kind of focus on that one conversation a day, make, I don't know, 5 calls, 10 calls to yield that one conversation. And then, now we have, right, ideally we can potentially yield 3 deals a month. Well, that means I have a lot of buffer to yield that 1 deal a month. So one conversation per day is kind of a good goalpost, good target. Okay, all right. So now let's talk about these, what that funnel looks like in action. I really like that because it gives a really concrete example, and through case studies, that's how we really learn better. Then obviously, when we really learn is when we actually do the outreach and execute it ourselves. And there will be tons of questions, I'm sure. And that's what we're here for. We're here to guide you. Okay, so let's talk about this fire lead. Okay, this is now a fire lead. This is not a signed contract yet, but we have got it all the way to a fire lead. So I want to show you that example. This is in Freeport, which is by the beaches down in Houston, close to Galveston. And as you can see, it's already been updated, right? Nicely remodeled and good to go. It was upgraded 3 years ago. Now it's been sitting on the market for almost 300 days now. The last time I pulled, I think is it last week or maybe earlier this week? It's probably on the market for 280 days now. So approaching 300 days, almost a year, 10 months. Okay, so so after we do the outreach, right, the seller says, yeah, I'm interested. I want to sell. I actually tried to sell for a long time now. It's not moving. And kind of upon so we schedule the appointment, we make the phone call, we were able to connect, and that's where we get this information that he owes $282,000. Which includes a written statement of $28,000. PITI stands for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And based on the number he gave us, we estimated that the PI is likely lower, $1,350. And then the next step is underwriting. Once we get all the numbers, so part of the underwriting would be, hey, what is the after repair value? What is the market value? And by being, kind of more on the conservative side, we're estimating that we should be able to sell at $325 on a normal market. Obviously, even at $295, it hasn't been selling. It's been dropping the prices. Okay, but we are potentially targeting a different kind of market that are willing to pay a little bit more in a wrap exit, and so that's something that's a path that we can look at. And then for long-term rental, about $2,000 a month, and then for short-term rental, just by being conservative with 60% occupancy, probably looking at $4K a month of cash flow. Okay. So short-term rental may work, right? Because it's able to cover the PITI. But then, there's operating costs, right? Everything. So the margin is going to be pretty high because you got to pay for all the utilities. You got to right? Pay for the maintenance, cleaning, everything. Okay, so all that information I'm putting into the middle column here, and the next one is kind of creating an offer and giving him the offer. So in the offer, we come up with several options. The first one is a cash option, where we follow the 70% rule that allows us to get the financing we need. So we usually like the 70% rule. The second option is a subject to, which is taking over the existing mortgage payment. Okay, so the current structure is that we offer 5K to the seller, take over the mortgage. This will be contingent upon being able to move the reinstatement, right? Do a loan modification, and move the reinstatement into the loan balance itself. So that just we just presented the offer this morning. Okay, so now I move that to the middle column, right? The options, and then let's look at our exit strategy, because for underwriting and all that, we need to look at the exit strategy too. And so we talk about short-term rental, talking about $800 cash flow, but it's not ideal because, again, for a short-term rental, we gotta run it at like a hotel. There's say cleaning. Well, I guess we can pass the cleaning fees to the guest. However, the utilities, right, and Wi-Fi and all that stuff we have to provide, and so that's going to eat into the margin. And if we put in a property manager in place, they usually charge more to run a STR for you. Okay, another option is wrap. So being a kind of conservative, we sell at just the after the say market value. For wrap, there's a potential to sell it for a little bit higher, but I like having a little bit of conservatism just to for this case, because it's been sitting on the market for 277 days. So we'll receive about 10% in down payment. So let's say 30,000 in cash, and that 30K. I guess I'll go over that later. And then if we put the rest at 8.5%, the current estimate is that it will cash flow and pay for the principal interest of the underlying loan. And then another thing is that $30,000 in cash. We'll use that to pay the seller, the 5K to seller. And then there is, some assignment fees that can be earned by putting the deal together. And then there's also a little bit of margin. Let's say we don't get $30,000 in cash, we can actually bring that down a little bit, and the number can still work. All right. Okay. So I think this is all we have here. So again, if you have questions, feel free to ask. If you don't have questions, please attend one of our classes that kind of talk about this in a little more detail. I just want to showcase this more as a case study on how we can structure a deal to make it work. And in this case, we always say that sub-2 can be more flexible in making a deal that normally doesn't work for the 70% rule, kind of make it work. And a wrap as an exit is more forgiving too. So in this case, we kind of need to utilize both of them put together in order to create a viable exit strategy. If you want to ask more specific questions, you can join our office hours tomorrow. It's going to be at 9:30 Central Time. And I'll share the link in a little bit. Okay, so let's keep moving. For featured deals, we have a deal in Waco. Okay, the best part of this is that this is a sub-2, right? So the seller is willing to provide financing and for 5 years, and this is pretty good location. It's walking and biking distance to Baylor University, and potential exit could be a long-term rental or a wrap. Okay, there's also a deal in Elgin, which is about 20 minutes from Austin. And there's some small issues, with mildew. I have seen the property last week. The rehab cost is probably not that much. And what's attractive is that, it's a really nice substitute with the mortgage payment, being pretty moderate. And there's a pretty big spread comparing that to the after repair value. And the after repair value at 300K, I think plus minus 20K would be the conservative. I would probably do minus 20K just to be able to sell quicker. There are more deals, the buy and hold properties available, about 35 properties in that portfolio. And you can either buy it in piecemeal, or you can buy it as a package, or several properties together as a package. We also have tons of fix and flip properties in the inventory that are a part of a acquisition through foreclosure auctions. And then there's some land as well. So if you're interested, fill out that QR code, and we'll chat with you and connect you with the right deals and send you more deal information. Okay, and then of course, how do we do the deal? I think I personally got benefited a lot by having one-on-one hand-holding, because I think we can understand the concepts and the theory to a certain point, and then when it comes to practice, there's so many questions. Like, every single step I have questions. And so we want to offer that to you as well. So not only do we offer the training and kind of the walking through, but really it's through doing the deals and solving these cases together and coming up with a deal structure. And with enough practice, everything becomes more natural. We call it immersive learning. You gotta really kind of put yourself inside the entire practice in order to learn it really well and really fast. And so that's what this Deal Accelerator program is about. And we have put together quite a bit of traction. And so I want to start offering this to you as well. You can join the waitlist if you're interested. So next, let's talk about our market scan. Okay, this is our market intelligence piece. And you have to give me a second here to switch screens. So give me 1 second. Okay, looking good. All right. So this is a lot of intelligence, a lot of information, a lot of work actually went into this, right? This is our quarterly intelligence data, and you get the first look of it. A couple of key points is that the mortgage rate for 30 years is now hovering below 6%. 15-year mortgage actually gets lower than that. I think I saw 5 point something. And then in terms of foreclosure, you can see is up 32% year over year. And the median price for the state of Texas is 334,000. So that's a really cool, that's a really good guideline. And if you have seen the market update class that I have recorded, understanding the median price in your market is a really good guidance for flippers and investors in general. Okay, here's a really cool infographics that we put together. Look at this. There's some vital signs, right? The mortgage rate has hit multi-year low, right? Stabilizing at around 6%. So overall, it has been dropping, and that has led to an increase in demand for refinancing and new buyers. Now, the Texas inventory has now reached 7-month supply, so that's shifting more towards a buyer's market now. And then for wholesale focus, if you're looking at a house with really good equity, you can probably look at a $50,000 average profit. So that's very exciting. In Austin and San Antonio, the market is the softest in the entire state of Texas. And Austin prices have been down by 6.4%. I've been talking to sellers in the market that that have trouble selling in this market too. So that gives a lot of leverage to investors as buyers. So the executive summary, right? From a national market standpoint, pay attention to the interest rate, the median price, and the months of supply. And we're now seeing 8 straight months of affordability gains. In the Texas market, pay attention to the median price, the inventory level, which is above national, and the price softening trend. And then from a wholesale and investor standpoint, I think the biggest news is that we're seeing a big uptick in distressed sellers. We're seeing a lot of activity actually from distressed sellers needing to sell, and they're looking for solutions from investors. In Texas alone, we're looking at over 3,000 foreclosure starts. So now I think it's time to kind of do a little quick plug on our new app. It's called dealsnearme.io. And what you're gonna have is being able to access all the foreclosure data that are updated every day in your local market. So now you can kind of map out your driving route that are around you. So it's very localized, and you can drive to them and talk to the distressed sellers, right? So this app is geared towards driving for dollars and also door knocking as a outreach. And door knocking, some folks resist it a little bit, but it's very effective. The best wholesalers and investors that I know are the ones that are very good at doing door knocking. They always get deals. Okay, so here's a snapshot of the different metro markets, and pay attention to the median price, the year-over-year price change, the days on market, and inventory, depending on what market you're interested in and what market you are currently doing business in. A lot of insights here. Depending on how many markets you're a part of, some of us are looking at the entire state of Texas. So there's quite a bit of information. So you might want to take a screenshot and review it a little bit down, kind of after this session. Okay, lots of information data here. Okay, so we talked about the Texas foreclosure start. Houston alone has over 1,000, and nationally, 40,000 foreclosure filings in January of 2026. And that's actually quite exciting as investors, right? Because we're seeing a lot more responses. I would love to see and hear from everybody. What are all your thoughts and kind of your current marketing outreach responses so far? We're seeing quite a bit of uptick in the responses, and I was talking about getting one quality conversation a day. We're getting more than that. So that's good news for investors and wholesalers. Okay, and then we also see a lot of cancellation here as well. So record cancellation, 21% in San Antonio. These are listing cancellations. Dallas, Houston, and Austin are more than 10%. So these cancellation rates is telling us that there are motivated seller leads. A lot of cancel listings are opportunities as well for wholesale. So kind of our guidance in terms of wholesale opportunities is that in Houston, there's a lot of volume, and pay attention to the energy market. We're seeing some turmoil in the Middle East, and that's going to lead to kind of the job market, local jobs market in Houston, and that's it has a big effect in that local area. All right, Austin, price cut. There's oversupply of housing now. Tech, very softening market. San Antonio, also relatively soft market, and it's a #1 buyer's market, meaning the buyers have a lot of negotiation power. And you can also kind of look at and do some hybrid deals, which is some cash, some sub-2, and kind of equity, some now, some later, in terms of the cash offer. For DFW, a lot of suburban inventory, and you can assign it. And that's kind of the strategy that we look at too for DFW is we look at assign. Okay, so this is our lending environment and the kind of the mortgage data. So 30 years, we've been seeing the trend here on the right, and the low rate is expanding the buyer pools and boosting confidence for after repair value. And that's going to increase assignment velocity. So there's what things are looking at now, and also how things are going to look in the next 3 to 6 months. And I think the next 3 to 6 months is we're pretty bullish in that for wholesalers. Okay, so it's about getting the deals and then finding the investors that are kind of start seeing this trend, and they are feeling optimistic about their exit strategy too. The 15-year fix, 5.43%. And some good news is that FHA limit is now raised to 541,000. That expands buyer pool eligibility also, which is good news for investors. And refis are up 5 to 10%. So, and that continues to rise. So anytime we see a drop in mortgage interest, the refi and new loan applications have gone up. Okay, from a rental market standpoint, on the left you have the data for long-term rentals, and on the right you have data for short-term rental. So on the long-term rental, we're seeing a statewide, looking at about $2,100 to $2,200 per month in terms of rent. Austin, we have oversupply. I actually had this investor that are looking at extremely conservative numbers for rental, and has some notes here. And he's in Austin. And concessions are high, and I think in general, sellers are much more willing to negotiate. And then on the right, you have the single-family rentals. In San Antonio, we have the Riverwalks area is where we see the highest occupancy and good ROI. And Austin has tightening regulations, so you want to stay on top of those regulations and how they regulate short-term rentals. And then spring break is coming, and last night I was looking at short-term rental properties, and the prices were quite high. All right, deals near me. Okay, so right now we have in Harris County alone 730 leads. Dallas County 200 to 300 on a monthly basis. Tarrant County, which is where Fort Worth is about 222 for March. And March, and I guess by March we mean March foreclosure data. And then Florida, in Miami, big numbers. Tampa, big numbers, and also Bear County. So you can look at the numbers. So this app is built for wholesalers. It's built for flippers as well if you want to buy directly to from the seller. And all kinds of distress categories that we cover. And there's all kinds of information that we are offering here. So it allows you to see all the deals that are around you, based on the map, and you can map out where to go, all your door knocking routes, and more as we continue to build up the features. So really look into that and visit our website to get a hold of the alpha. All right, we hope you guys like this this app, and we want to continue to work with you to grow that. Okay, some strategic guides for you on your actions and your investment in 2026. For wholesalers, right, you can target the Austin and San Antonio area. For motivated sellers and for good, I guess, negotiation. Okay, there's a lot of negotiation power that are now with buyers. You can also use the app that we are launching for your off-market deal lead flow. For fix and flippers, right? Houston and DFW look at quick flips, right? Look at the area that have a lower days on market also. And then Austin, focus a little more on the properties that are under 450,000. Okay, for buy and hold, we actually got some buy and hold inventory that we're looking for buyers for, and especially in the DFW area. So you're interested, let us know. There will be a form for you to fill out, and then we'll start. We'll chat with you, and then match you with the right deals. So here, let's see. So we're expecting rent growth for long-term rental. Austin, avoid long-term rental. San Antonio, kind of look at the Riverwalk area where you can get higher occupancy and better ROI. In Houston, kind of look at the medical area. Okay, well, if you are ready to crush the real estate market today, these are the couple of things that you can do, and we have a team in place with mentors and coaches to really help you find that success. And so a couple of things you can do. Number one, subscribe to our data. We have weekly market intelligence like this every week. And so you can really leverage that to kind of set your kind of overall strategy. And then, right, the most important thing is the daily execution. What I find the things that separates somebody that's successful in the deal making and someone who may have lackluster results or like kind of inconsistency is consistency. You just kind of have that goal, right? As I mentioned earlier, you have one high quality conversation every single day. You have a check mark, and you just need to focus on that. And how many calls you need to make that one conversation, right? So set that activity goal. How many? Maybe it's not calls. Maybe it's door knocking and reaching somebody, right? So you make sure you get that good conversation every day, and then you'll be in really good shape. You have consistent results. The deals near me is going to be a really good way to kind of leverage our leads, right? It's nobody has access to that app right now except for a selected few people. So make sure you take advantage of that. And then you can leverage us to audit your deals for free. Cool. So that's what we have for this piece of the talk. Questions and comments, we welcome. All right. So your Q&A, if you have questions, we'll go. But for now, let me kind of tell you our upcoming events. So tonight we have pre-foreclosure gold mine. We have 6 ways to make money and build wealth, right? So it's about money making pathways, right? Using real estate and also the wealth building power in real estate. If you're new to real estate, you're curious, right? Or maybe you heard somebody who made a lot of money or built a lot of wealth in real estate. How do they do it? This class is gonna give you a really nice overview of how exactly it's done from a conceptual standpoint. Of course, you gotta put that into practice to really build wealth. And then we have foreclosure secrets, right? All the things that you need to win deals in a foreclosure auction. And of course, from a kind of live event standpoint, we have Deal Makers Live. We have office hours tomorrow. So, make sure you take advantage of that. If you don't have deals, you can just show up and introduce yourself. We have deals. We have leads. We have deals. We can get you started. And then there's also Friday open house on how we plan on disrupt the real estate market. So that's all we have. Let me kind of leave you with also a promotion. We have an end of first quarter promotion here you can take advantage of. If you scan this QR code, you can take advantage of the access of these distressed seller leads. Scan the QR code, talk to our consultant, and last thing is, want to really encourage you and challenge you to take action, right? It's about execution. Start taking action and you can start your real estate journey with us. Right, that's all we have for today. And thanks for joining us. And look forward to seeing you in our events tomorrow and future events. See you next week. Thanks, everybody.
I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.